welcome to the podcast. I'm Marisa.
I'm Ariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. This week, you guys can tell the difference between the two of us because I'm sick. As a reminder, this podcast is rated T for teen for strong language and mature themes.
If you would like your podcast without that, and, maybe with people who don't come to record a podcast sick, dummy, head on over to hers very own... Head on over to hers very own podcast, Unlocked, where I hear they talk to people about things. You know what they did this week? You know what they did, sister?
I remember. They talked to an artist from games 5 through 17.
Bully.
Yeah. So, if you want to hear about an artist for games that came out over a decade ago, then now's your chance. Probably does not remember any of it, to be honest.
But yeah, we did art, man.
I did art.
Rad.
Yeah. So, what are we talking about tonight, sister?
Let's see, what was our first topic? Here we go. I was at the wrong part, because that was where I was writing last, instead of... So tonight, in our 117th episode, we're going to talk about best and worst historical side plots, which, side note, I read that as snapshots.
Awesome. So yeah, we're going to talk about the best and worst historical subplots, side plots, whatever. You know, the thing where Nancy goes in to solve one case, but then she gets completely sidetracked by something that happened in the past. Those.
As she is oft to do. So, do you want to start with the best or the worst? I really don't know at this point. Like, do we want to start taking a huge dump? Or do we want to just finish with a huge dump?
Ah, yes. Classy. I say we front load the good content, because that's how we wrote it. I know what you meant. So, we'll start with the best.
And then you can stop listening when we go to the worst.
If you're like, I don't care about their negative Nancy lifestyle.
Oh, Nancy! Negative Nancy!
Then you can get to the part where we start talking about the worst ones, and you can be like, okay, I'm done with this episode, and turn it off. See? We're doing this for you, positive people.
Yeah. Negative people, figure out where we start being negative. You want to make life more difficult for yourself by being negative? Then we'll make it more difficult too.
Okay. So, best historical subplots in no particular order. Mm-hmm. Just put them down in the order I remembered them in. But I think we all should say that Francis and Dirk.
Yes.
Is
definitely.
It's like the best one, honestly. Like, it's one of the best ones, at least. It's the most fleshed out.
It is.
It's the one that makes the most sense. Mm-hmm. And it has a good payoff.
It does. Yeah. It's not just learning random shit for the sake of it. It's... Everything works out. It's just very good. It connects well. I think that's also what makes for a great, like, historical subplot is when it's deeply connected to the case that you're already on.
Yeah.
Not just, like...
There. Happens in the same building for some reason.
Right. Okay, that's cool. Somebody was here.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Francis and Dirk are great. They you get a sense for the fictional world and reality in which Nancy Drew exists.
Yeah.
Because suddenly, like, brands are called out, and it's like, no, they're not real, but it gives you a sense of history, of solid history of the Nancy Drew place.
Yeah, exactly. And it's heartwarming.
It is heartwarming.
Heart-touching. I can't think of the right words. Because I don't think
touching your heart.
Yeah. Heartwarming isn't really the right thing to say when he dies at the end. But
everybody dies, okay?
Also, as the chat points out, they voice over the letters. That's what makes it really good. One, for true. Accessibility reasons. And two, because it adds emotion to the letters.
Because fuck you for making me read your god-awful fonts.
Yeah, those are terrible. Should feel bad.
Yeah.
They're bad and you should feel bad.
Yeah.
So Francis and Dirk, that's very near the top.
And that is the only good iteration of Charlene and Purcell.
It's true.
Because getting all the history from her is just, top notch.
It's true. Mm-hmm. Houdini. The whole finding out who owns the Royal Palladium and stuff like that, and getting to look in. Obviously, I'm talking about the final scene. And get to look into, I'm like...
They're like, where the fuck did Houdini come from?
Houdini in general. Good history.
Good history of Houdini.
But, I love that tracking things down, having to call people and figure stuff out in the past for the Houdini stuff to try and figure out who owns the theater to get it to stop being demolished. Because again, that means that the past, that historical subplot, is tied into our current mystery. We need to solve that to be able to get it, well, I mean, we think that's how we're going to solve it.
Yeah.
So.
And then, it doubles down, and that also ends up connecting to one of our suspects, giving him motive and stuff it's like, oh, this is a deeply intertwined storyline.
It is.
It's good. I love that stuff.
And I love it. Mm-hmm. And it's just magicians.
That's what I just said, Risa.
Why are you being so mean to me? I don't feel good.
I don't know.
You're so mean. But yeah.
Houdini.
And as you put in the notes, you love the idea of Nana Falcone.
I do, just in general. And I wish we'd gotten to meet her.
And I like the meme I made of, the guess I'll die guy, but just guess I won't get paid. That's still somewhere on our Tumblr.
Yeah.
So the entirety of Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon, solving all the shit on the train, finding out about Camille and stuff like that.
They could use to do more of this kind of setup for the Nancy Drew games, where it's all Poirot-esque, where everybody's called into a thing, and it is a more direct connection as opposed to Francis and Dirk. It's simultaneous, basically. You feel you're getting the story as you solve everything. Houdini, the information you're getting informs how you deal with things.
Yeah,
and then Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon is specifically focused on
finding. It's not really a side plot as much.
Yeah.
Though, I mean, the mystery they tried to sell us on is she goes missing. But
yeah, well, and then it's about finding their stuff, but we happen to learn about them in the process, because you have to know about them to understand any of the puzzles.
Pretty much.
Great. I think that's what I like about the Francis and Dirk one, too, is because you have to know about them to understand their puzzles.
Yeah. It's nice.
It's good.
And we get to rub us some Dead Girl Tomb.
That sounds dirty.
Every year that comes up in my Facebook memories, I'm always like, the day we were playing Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon.
Yes, this out-of-context quote. I know it well.
I know exactly what this means, because it's the only thing it could mean. But yeah.
For sure.
So, also, I just love trains.
Yeah, trains are good.
Trains are good, especially old trains.
I really do like the constant...
Yeah, it's calming.
outside. It's the whole game, and you can see things going by.
Everything
it's like,
moving. Yeah. I find great, like, tranquility in motion.
Yeah.
You know? Like how being on an airplane would be calming if you weren't stuffed in like sardines.
Yeah, like that.
Exactly. So, not exactly historical, but the Charlotte stuff in Ghost of Thornton Hall. Like, specifically all learning about what happened with Charlotte and Clara and Harper.
Yeah.
Back in 89.
Yeah, so fucking
super
long
historic.
ago.
Super historic. 30 years ago. I'm sorry. But yeah, the Charlotte stuff, I just enjoy learning all of that and trying to uncover what all happened. Mm-hmm. I think it's because it's such like a heartbreaking thing.
It is, yeah.
And I feel like the same thing happens. Same thing happens with Kasumi and finding out what happened to her. It's that same kind of thing of like, this is a heartbreaking thing that happened, and uncovering why it happened and how it happened is just
modern Southern Gothic.
It's emotionally satisfying.
Yeah. Giving closure.
Yeah.
Finding these deep, dark family secrets. It's the kind of book I love, let's be honest.
Exactly. just peeling all of that apart and finding out what really happened. And it's not historical, but it takes place in the past, so...
Yeah, it's historical for that family. It's a huge event for them.
Exactly. So that's why I think both of those are, like, right with each other.
Yeah.
On being good. They're at least interesting.
Yeah.
And emotionally satisfying.
Aw, yeah. They're also both dead chicks, like...
Yeah.
Making people solve puzzles to...
Yeah, and also Kate Drew.
And Kate, like, what is with these dead people?
Dead moms just leaving people clues to solve things, you know?
I mean, Charlotte wasn't anybody's mom. But yeah!
No, she wasn't. She was a sister. But that's okay. Yeah. It's fine. The other two are moms.
She was a sister and cousin and nothing more.
She had familial ties.
Yes.
Don't we all?
I feel like she's scarred Colton in a way that...
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
Was definitely similar.
That child had PTSD.
That kid. And they treated him like he was a fucking weirdo, and it's like, y'all...
He has issues.
The rest of you have issues for not dealing with this.
Yeah, I mean...
At least he got some, like, medical attention.
Yeah. He obviously went out and got, like, therapy.
Right. Well, a minimal amount. I feel like they just put him on some medicine.
Something's better than nothing.
That's why he allows himself to be pushed into a relationship with, missing girl. Jessalyn, yeah.
But yeah, with the Kate Drew stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because we get to... just see what happened in something, this moment that Nancy has touched on, that is an important moment in her life.
Yeah.
That we're now actually getting to flesh out and see everything that happened.
It sort of puts into context, like, she seems to have also, like, a little bit of resentment towards her father.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really realized that that's what it was when she, like, completely disrespects him and doesn't, like, tell him anything. She treats him like he's an idiot, and it's like, geez, calm down. You're talking to your dad, man. Like,
yeah.
He still pays your way, kid.
Who the fuck do you think raised you and taught you all these things? Right. Like, but yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. No list of historical... quote-unquote, subplots is complete without, Malone.
Yeah. Malone and his dogs. Malone. That one, like, honestly, is even almost better than Francis and Dirk for me.
Yeah.
Because getting to learn about how much he loved those dogs and stuff,
yeah.
that's so, like, I love that so much.
It's the kind of thing you would actually learn about some mobster.
Yeah.
Or some gangster in the Prohibition era. He was a mean son of a bitch. He literally put cement shoes on people and put them in the lake. But loved those goddamn dogs.
Exactly.
Like, they could pretend to clean up and they just focus on the fact that he loved his dogs, but we know how her deals with history. We've seen it. So we know what else is happening. Just knowing about that he's a gangster, knowing the era he's in, we all know what was going down.
And, as chat says, those portraits of his dogs, iconic.
Yes.
Anyone who will be like, I am going to commission someone to make oil portraits of my Rottweilers.
And I'm going to leave, clues in them.
Yeah, perfect. Fantastic. I love it.
That's awesome.
We skipped a couple that are less... Yeah, that are less good, but still worth mentioning. Ransom of the Seven Ships is a terrible game. But reading El Toro?
I think it's El Toro.
Reading El Toro's journal is good.
Yes.
Reading everything that happened, having to decode it, learning all of that, that's great. That's fantastic.
It is. That's kind of first-person historical
primary sources.
Primary sources are always the best. They are always my favorite. Mwah. So that journal is just bomb diddles.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah. And then Sea of Darkness, same thing. The game, not our favorite, or even in the top 10.
Yeah,
in
not
the
my
top
least
20,
favorite, but
it's in the top 20.
It's very pretty, so there's that. Yeah.
So, just first of all, historical boat. It's fantastic.
That's just perfect.
I just like boats. As we can tell, I like trains and I like boats.
Boats and trains. She loves her some transportation.
I love transportation. But Sea of Darkness kind of has, it's not, super fully fleshed out, the historical subplot. It's just kind of and here are some puzzles to solve.
Yeah.
So, here's a song, and then some puzzles. So it's okay, not as good as some of the others, but it's still worth mentioning.
Yeah. It doesn't feature in as well.
Nothing in Sea of Darkness really melded very well.
It's such a weird game.
It really is.
I need to be shitty person now, so can we move on to the worst?
Yeah, we're going to do the worst. We are going to talk about the worst now. First of all, I just want to point out the entirety of Secret the Old Clock. That just...
Well, the anachronisms don't help.
They do not. It's bad. It's we're not a fan.
Yeah.
So that's just putting that out there.
Yeah.
But
we'll just leave that there. Additionally,
let's just
well, in the same vein, I don't like any of the quote unquote Mayan stuff in Secret of the Scarlet Hand.
Yeah, just
that gets a little mixy matchy, and
they just don't give you accurate information. They tell you things
it's
that are
fine. Nobody cares. They're all the same,
and they all disappeared. Obviously. What the fuck? What? They still exist and they still live there.
What is wrong with you, you lunatic?
But yeah, so just putting those two out there. It's just, they're not subplots. However, they're worth saying they're bad. Now, just to jump right into terrible historical subplots, I'm going to go straight to Noisette Tornade. Good old hazelnut hurricane. Hazelnut tornado.
Oh, hazelnut tornado.
Jesus fucking Christ. I hate in Danger by Design, I fucking hate that historical subplot because it's like, she had a Nazi boyfriend, but it's okay because she saved art.
Yeah, but they didn't call him a Nazi boyfriend.
No,
they
he was
called
him
a German soldier boyfriend. And people were mad about it for some fucking reason.
Oh, yeah.
Love conquers all. Meh.
I'm just like, oh my god. And then he goes back to Germany and everything. At the end of the war, it's just like...
Well, and then he was killed for his war crimes.
I mean, he wasn't. He lived out his days.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah. No, that's the worst part. He was just a Nazi soldier, and then he goes back to Germany and doesn't have to face any... Oh, I got too heated.
Okay, sister.
And then along the same vein...
me too.
And then along the same vein, we have Uncle Nazi Malloy. In Haunting of Castle Malloy, where it's like, yes, my great uncle Brendan or whatever. Mm-hmm. Some say he was working for the Axis powers. And then it never gets disproven.
Never gets disproven. We see he was building fucking rockets.
And Kyler thinks of this as like a funny story.
Oh, he was our eccentric. It's like, fuck you.
It's like he was our eccentric Nazi uncle.
Oh, he did have some thoughts on the Jews, let me tell you.
I mean, it's just like...
What the hell? Their treatment, they have a serious Nazi/World War II problem that really needs to be addressed.
Yeah. Like, we've talked about that before, but it's just like, it's bad. When I was playing through Castle Malloy this last time on stream, I was just like, I can't believe no one ever talks about this in the game. Like, it's stated he might have been working for the Axis powers, and no one, like, says anything like that was bad. Like, they don't even mention the war.
They don't mention, there is so much that just gets swept under the rug in that game that it is painful.
Yeah.
There is cleaning things up, and then there is, like, power washing. So that any bit of historical grime is not on there.
It's just like...
At this point, it's alternate history. It's like, oh yeah, no, there was just a war. Nobody died. It was just war.
It was just a war, obviously, between people who liked art and people who didn't. Speaking of other wars... Great grandma, maybe Confederate spy Thornton.
Oh,
that's another thing where we're just like, there was a war, but we're not going to say who was the good war, who was the good side. We're just going to be like, there were spies on both sides of the war.
Yeah, and it's the same as the chat is saying about stop putting good Nazis in media. We get it. We get that in war there are two sides and both sides are human, but the differences are what they fight for.
But Ariana, it was just states' rights. It was just states' rights.
It was just states' rights. States' rights to, include on the census that each slave they had was 2/3 of a person. It's fine. It's not dehumanizing. They like the work.
Obviously. Oh my god. Because it's just like, if you're gonna bring it up, bring it up. I think that's like all of these...
the prisoners with jobs. It's fine.
I mean, that's the current state of it. Hey! Sorry. Getting almost too real. But I think with all of our worst ones here, it's all about, if you're going to bring something up, bring it up.
Bring it the fuck up.
Don't just go, yeah, it was in World War II, but, we don't have to talk about World War II. We'll just talk about, like, the glamorous side. Like, just think, I don't know. Let's try to invoke the idea of Casablanca without any of the actual, any of the actual material of it.
I mean, that's like learning about Marie Antoinette without learning anything actually about Marie Antoinette. Like,
exactly. Oh my god. It's just like, the Marie Antoinette stuff really pisses me off, because it's like, but she was a good royal. Obviously.
And that
she didn't even want the crown. It's like, so I'm supposed to feel bad for this bitch? Because I don't.
I don't.
It's like, you're never going to get me to feel any kind of sympathy for Marie Antoinette.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. It's like, oh, but she never said let them eat cake. Well, I know that.
That is not the point.
That's not the point. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that she didn't say that, because she still lived that lifestyle. But she liked to pretend she was a peasant woman on the side. She would go out into the countryside and pretend she was a yes. So, cosplaying. Cosplaying poverty. And that's supposed to make me like her. Gotcha.
Besides which, she probably did it to go fuck farmhands. Let's be honest here. She wasn't getting any from her husband. Anyway. The point is, you can't do that.
Don't just bring something up and then let it go. Like, if you're going to bring it up, bring it up. And if you're going to do it in an accurate manner, instead of being like, Tlaloc, the Maya god. No! Tlaloc was Aztec. Fuck off. I'm sorry.
And Quetzalcoatl. Nope.
No. Absolutely not. The name, Quetzal, can like, Coatl. We already learned that Coatl is a Nahuatl word.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Nahuatl, the language of the Aztec, while it was spoken in some places in the Mayan kingdom. I'm fine. It's fine. We're good.
So those were our best and worst historical subplots. We got a little fervent there at the end.
Yeah.
Those are for you negative people who stuck around.
You negative Nancy's, you.
If you guys think we've missed some, which we have, because we did not go game by game.
Yeah, we should have. But it would have taken way too long. 3-part episode.
So, please let us know what your best and worst are on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
There you go.
Twitch, and YouTube.
Hey.
You can also let us know on our fancy website, krolmeistersisters.knifefightclub.com.
You can also find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Spotify. And you can leave us a review and let us know how awesome you think we are and how we are so right. And these things are wrong and these things are right. And we are just glorious people. You're supposed to interrupt me.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was just here for it.
You're like, yeah, fuck yes, I am.
Tell us this. Okay. You can also subscribe to us on Twitch to get access to our cute little wine glass emote. And if you subscribe to us on Twitch, you will have access to Podcast Night VODs as well now, because we can change the permissions on VODs. So if you want to get those Podcast Night VODs, but you don't want to go over and support us on Patreon at patreon.com/KrolmeisterSisters to get access to Podcast Night VODs and Streamcat pictures, you can also do so on Twitch. So, as a reminder, I'm Marisa.
I'm Ariana.
And we're the Krolmeister Sisters. And we're asking you guys to stay sleuthy.